this is Linda Abraham with Ion Admissions. Right now, many of you have received the answers from your early application efforts, either your round one or the applications you sent in September or October of this year. This year, it's not yet the new year. And for those of you with acceptances, congratulations, you've done well, and you are probably celebrating. And despite the dismal weather outside, blizzards in Western Europe, blizzards on the East Coast, a very soggy Southern California where I'm located, the sun is shining for you. However, for those of you who either face a fistful of rejections or waitlist notifications, the weather is probably reflecting your mood and your response to the rejections. And it's normal to feel disappointed at rejection. I don't think that's news. I don't think you need to be telling you that. And I would allow yourselves to express that disappointment, but I would also strongly urge you that after expressing it, you move on. It's a disappointment, it's not a tragedy. Rejection is not a judgment of your worth as a person, or even the future you have in front of you. It simply means that this school, at this particular point in time, has decided they can't take you into their class. So what is a constructive response to that fistful of rejections, especially if you don't have acceptances? If you have acceptances, well, a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Presumably you would not have applied to a school you didn't want to attend, and you should probably accept one of the acceptances that you have. Dealing with multiple acceptances is a subject of another either blog post or video. So for now, let's just deal with those people who are dealing strictly with rejections. You have to analyze what happened, what went wrong. You can pretty much narrow down rejections into one of four categories, and the fourth was a little fuzzy. The first one simply is that you were in some ways not qualified, not competitive at the schools that you applied to. The second one means that you were qualified, you had competitive stats, you had competitive experience, you had the leadership and whatever other qualities, the compassion, whatever qualities the school was looking for. But for some reason you did not present yourself well. You didn't tell your story as well as you should have. And therefore, you didn't appear competitive, even though you really and truly are. The third possible reason for rejection is just the numbers, sheer numbers. And this is especially true if you are a member of an overrepresented group in the applicant pool. So for example, if you are a bio major in applying to medical school, if you're an Indian IT guy applying to business school, if you're a political science major, poli-sci major applying to law school, you tend to be overrepresented in the applicant pool, and it's going to be harder for you to distinguish yourself, to show that you are going to contribute something distinctive and unique and value added to the program, and therefore you're going to have a higher likelihood of rejection, even though you're basically qualified, and even though you told your story okay. And you may not have told it well enough to show that distinctiveness that the schools are also looking for. So what do you do now? Well, and the fourth reason, let me not skip that, is some combination of the first three. It could be 1 and 3 is a really common one, 2 and 3. 1 and 2 is dismal. But those three reasons, or any combination thereof, can usually are the root causes of rejections. So what do you do? If the primary cause you were not accepted to the school of your choice, or any school, is that you simply reached a little bit too high, then you need to get realistic. You either have to improve your qualifications, and if you're thinking in particular of a reapplication effort next fall, you have the time to do that. You can do something to improve your profile, or perhaps fall of 2012. You have the time to do that. And that would be one direction to take your reapplication effort. Another direction would be simply to say, okay, I need to be realistic. I'm not going to be able to change significantly my profile. I want to be a little bit more realistic in my choice of schools. And then perhaps you can try a late round application, particularly to business school. So change your choice of schools, and in that way you will become more competitive. The second reason that I mentioned for rejection is that you failed to tell your story well. Well, then you have to tell it better. It's that simple. You have to think about, what do you want the schools to know? How can you better demonstrate fit with their programs? How can you tell your story in a more compelling and, in the words of one of my favorite books, sticky way? And the third reason, victim of the numbers. That, on one hand, is probably the most frustrating result, because you did an okay job, at least, in telling your story, though again, these two tend to combine. You are basically qualified, but because there is such intense competition among people with similar backgrounds, the school, and because the schools value diversity, they cannot admit everybody who applies who looks like you, and I don't mean just superficially, I don't mean just externally, then you are essentially a victim of the numbers and intense competition among people like you. Well, you can't change your competition, you can't change who you are, but you can tell your story better. You can tell it more distinctively, more effectively. And you may want to apply to more schools than many other people do, or yes, adjust this choice of schools so that the competition is not quite as intense. I hope these reactions to rejection are going to help you get over the hump and get over the disappointment and respond constructively to what is undoubtedly not the result you wanted. In any case, this is Linda Abraham with Eye on Admissions. Thank you very much for watching.